real quick. Okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to record today, Aurora. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. What I was starting with was we like each other. We think you're wonderful. Hopefully, you think I'm wonderful too. But we are here to
Amazing.
pursue, thank you so much. We are here to pursue a goal. And I want to talk about the facets of this goal pursuit, right?
Mhm.
Like what is the equation of things that gets us to the goal? Okay.
Right.
Now, before I do that, I want you to rename the goal. Like, what is it that we're trying to do? What are you trying to do? If you could name your goal, and maybe we can say like 3 sentences or less, what is it that you are trying to achieve in our time together?
So, in changing it, because I know when we started in the beginning, my goal was to lose weight, but
Yes.
my mindset has changed um, because I just want to be healthy. I'm not trying to chase a number. I
Hmm.
mean, yes, a number is important, but that is not if it's like, a top 5 things that I'm concerned about with my health, it's probably on the bottom 5. You know what I'm saying? It's not the top
That's
anymore
good.
because there's different things. Oh my goodness, sleep. Sleep is so important. um
Mhm.
and I'm trying to get back to, the basics of what's important for my health, not just the number on the scale.
Listen, I I think when you can reach a place where you understand that my wellness is actually the beginning of this equation,
Yes.
right? Sleeping, when it comes to health outcomes, when it comes to getting off of medication, when it comes to losing weight, when it comes to building muscle, whatever your goals are when it comes to your health, sleep is where all of this starts and ends.
Hmm.
And what we experience, especially when we get to midlife, is we start having issues with sleep, right? Some
Yes.
of that is hormonal. Cortisol is up, stress is up. Some of that is related to our hormones. And we have to have stress relieving techniques every day, every week, programming in, planning in some opportunities to bring our stress down. Okay.
Hmm.
So that we can get to sleep, right?
Right.
But some of that also is like lifestyle. Maybe we have been watching, I don't know what's back football. Oh my God. We've been watching this football season. We've been up watching the game, right? Or we've been up fighting with the dog or whatever. Just getting into a habit and a routine around our sleep. So
Right.
I love that you've mentioned this because this should be within your top 5. Is I need to focus on my sleep. And I'm just gonna add to this and stress management. Oh my God.
Man, that's number one, honestly.
Sleep and
That
stress. Because
that is definitely number one because um I tend to overthink every single thing, everything. And it's hard, but I've been learning to, like, seriously, you don't need to control everything because there are way more things out of your control than what you can actually control. And guess what? You keep stressing over the stuff that you can't control, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it. You're constantly gonna be stressed. So I've been trying, and my little circle of friends and stuff like that, they're like, I try explaining the situation to them, and they say, "Why are you doing that? Why are you stressing yourself out? Stop! Like, you don't need to do that." So yeah, it's been a lot with stress management.
okay. Stress management. One of the children of an influx of stress is anxiety.
Mm.
And anxiety is that loop that you just named. It's like getting into the what if loop. Oh, good golly Wally. I hate that what if loop because you keep asking yourself, well, what if I'm next? Right? Like,
Yep.
what if they don't call me back? What if I can't lose weight? What if I don't sleep tonight? You get into this what if loop, this anxiety, and this increases your cortisol. It makes you more stressed, which makes you
Mhm.
more anxious, which makes you more stressed, which makes you more anxious.
Yeah.
This loop. has to end.
Yeah.
And the way that we end this anxiety spiral is breathing techniques is wonderful. Just like, man, like that in and of itself, a deep breath
Yeah.
can take your anxiety from a 9 to a 7. Oh, and then you do 2 of them, and now you went from a 9 to a 6. And what was impossible to see through because you were so anxious, like, becomes a little bit more clear, right? You can
Oh,
see it a little bit
absolutely.
more clearly when you calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing techniques, taking a nice long walk, phoning a friend, journaling, prayer, affirmation, whatever it is that you need to tell yourself. And one thing that really resonated with me, so I was in Atlanta this past weekend just visiting my old folks, and they got the wisdom and stuff.
Of course.
And a few things that resonated with me was like my granddad kept asking himself, because he's losing his independence. And he kept
Mhm.
asking himself, Charles, why are you making this harder for yourself? Why are you making this hard for yourself? Pain is going to exist in our lives,
Mhm.
but we make pain hard for ourselves when we get into this anxiety about it. We know that when pain comes, pain also goes,
Yeah.
right? It's here, but it's also going to go. So we have to break this anxiety loop, okay? Long winded anxiety is not helping us, right? But then when we're stressed out as well, it also influences our choices, right? And
Yeah,
so this is
because
like,
it seems like you're in a like it the stress the stress of it, the anxiety, it's like I feel like I'm putting myself in a fight or flight mode like at any given time. And it's like, why are you doing that to yourself?
exactly. Exactly. And being in fight or flight dictates what you do next,
Yes.
right? It dictates what you do, right? Being in fight or flight is like, okay, fight or flight. I'm in fight or flight because I'm stressed and because I'm anxious and because I'm not sleeping. But now I'm in fight or flight and it's translating into my food environment. I'm
Yes.
in fight or flight and now I'm making a fight or flight decision when it comes to my food. So stress and sleep are the beginning of better choices and less anxiety.
Yes.
We have to be doing this. We have to treat it like a priority. Otherwise, we'll be frustrated when we're fighting against ourselves, not making progress, right?
Yeah.
No, you need to go to bed and you've got to incorporate some stress relieving techniques. Calm the down, color, journal, whatever. Lower your tone, take a deep breath, meditate, sit silently, listen to the sounds of nature, whatever, pet the dog, whatever
Right.
helps bring that stress down. Okay. So I love that you mentioned that. Now, obviously, we take this stuff as like the undercurrent for what we're trying to pursue. And we
Mhm.
think about what's necessary for our health in general. Okay. It's a combination of, we said stress and sleep.
Mhm.
Oops, sorry. Stress, sleep. Then it's a combination of activity. Then it's a combination of our nutritional environment, our food.
Mhm.
Okay. And then it's our strength training, our resistance training. Okay. So the more we can increase our engagement with these, the better our outcomes will be. Okay. The
Yes.
more we can, the more we can do this stuff, the better our health markers will be, the better our mindset will be, the better we'll feel about what we're doing, the more consistently we can do this stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
All of this surrounded by the way that we think about it,
Yeah.
our mindset. Because your mindset about your activity, if you're going into your steps for the day, or you're taking your walk for the day, you're like, "Ah."
Man, let me tell you, this very morning, I said, okay, yesterday got away from me because this is why I said I need to just go back to working out in the morning, because if I don't, and then I'm like, okay, well, I have, different activities to do throughout the day. At the end of the day comes and I'm tired. I'm tired from everything else that I've done. and then the steps don't get in all the way. My
Mhm.
workout doesn't get completed. So this very morning, because I told myself I need to become consistent. I need to get back to being consistent in working out, because and even just the first level of it, like we were discussing, previous time before, even being consistent 15 to 20 minutes walking, like you're doing something and you're staying consistent, and it's going to get better. And
Yes.
so this very morning, when I tell you, I had my workout clothes ready, woke up first thing, and I said, oh my goodness, yeah, come
Mhm.
on, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Mhm.
And I put my clothes on and I'm like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then
Mhm.
I got into the parking lot and I'm like, girl, get out the car, get out
Let's
the
go.
car.
And that's the hardest part. Isn't that the hardest
Yeah.
part? Is getting yourself there. The hardest part is just getting there. Once you're there, it's
Hmm.
like, okay, cool. And then afterwards, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I made
Right.
it hard for myself. I made this hard for myself because what my mind is doing about
Yep.
it. Because of how my mind is circulating around this.
Hmm.
No, I'm making this harder for myself. Don't make this harder for yourself.
For
Okay.
no reason.
For nothing. For nothing. It's just like, why wait? Why are we wasting energy on arguing about whether or not I'm about to go to the gym?
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
No, why waste energy on that? Take your behind there. And when you leave, 9 times out of 10, you feel better every single time.
Oh,
Every single
absolutely.
time. So, okay. I'm glad you went. And we'll talk about that in a second. But we have all these components that make or break the goal, right? We got our stress and sleep that we need to care about, our activity that we need to care about, nutrition that we need to care about, and then our strength training that we need to care about, and our mindset around all of these things that we need to care about. And I just like even naming like care about this, care about this, care about this can increase your anxiety, right? Let's talk about the factors that can improve your chances of success and limit your anxiety. Okay.
Okay.
One, you have me, the trainer. You have
Yeah.
somebody on your team. You got somebody you can call on the phone to talk about this. You
Right.
have help. Okay. Then you have plan, not just a nutrition plan. You have a fitness plan. You have a step goal target, right? And maybe
Hmm.
I need to put that, right? You have targets, right? You got
Hmm.
targets. Then you have like the tools and the resources to do the stuff, right? So like you think, what can I use for Planet Fitness? I'm gonna make a stairmaster. Right.
Man,
You
I
have the
heard
tools,
that's a beast. I've been on there for, a few minutes. Few
you
minutes.
have the tools that you can use to make this happen. Then you have your mindset again, but specifically your mindset on why any of this matters to begin with. That's your brain, by the way. On why any of this matters to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of those things done with consistency, day after day after day after day after day after day after day,
Hmm.
especially as we try to make this a lifestyle. Okay.
Right.
What's missing from this group of things that like we need to be successful? You got a trainer, you got a plan, you got targets, you got tools, you got your mindset, and then the consistency behind all of these things. What's missing from that?
It sounds like it's complete though.
But something's missing. Something's missing.
What, me? Me
You,
doing all that?
girl, nail on the head. Then the answer is you. You, you got everything.
Yeah.
All right. You got everything that you need to be successful with this. What's going to make you successful is you determining that you are going to be successful. And people ask me this
Mhm.
all the time. They're like, well, how did you will yourself. How did you make yourself, how did you get to the end of it? Da 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 da. I mean, this was my only choice.
Right.
I literally had a conversation with myself, verbatim. You've heard this story a million times. I tell it the exact same way because it's true.
Mhm.
I'm looking in the mirror in that photo that I post all the time.
Yeah.
I am looking at myself in the mirror as I take this picture. And I'm like, girl, all right, look, what we gonna do? You're still young. Is this your adult form? Is this is the final form. This is what you want, right?
Mhm.
This is what you want. And if this isn't what you want, we have a decision to make right now. Is this going to get better?
Right.
Is this going to stay exactly the same for the rest of your life? Or is this going to progressively get worse? And I'm
Mhm.
having this conversation with myself as I am struggling to walk up a flight of stairs, as I'm not exercising, as every meal that I eat is fast food,
Mhm.
as I just don't care about the things that I know I need to care about. I'm looking at myself. What are we about to do?
Right.
And from that moment forward, it's me versus me versus my willpower, me versus how important this is for me to complete, me versus me. It's you versus you
Yeah.
because we talk once a week. We might message each other, on Instagram or throughout the app,
Mhm.
but it's going to be you versus the version of you who you currently are. It's going to
Right.
be you manifesting who you want to be versus you being complacent in who you currently are. That's the battle that
Yeah.
you're confronting, right? You versus you. What
Mhm.
is what's that making you think? Right? If I have all the tools, I have all the resources, I have the targets, I got some help. What is this making you think now that at the end of the day, it's going to come down to you?
I mean, you would think that it would like put me in like anxiety mode, but it doesn't. It's like a moment of clarity. Like, you know what? Like, I'm really making it harder than what it is. Like, if I'm consistent and I know that that is literally what it is, it's the little things, being consistent at the little things that that helps with the bigger picture so much. Um, Little things, like I said, I was, taking out different types of stress that, oh my goodness, self-inflicting, okay?
Yep.
So um trying to take out just the little things because it does add up. It's like sometimes you'll take on this, and then guess what? Then you have a straw that breaks a camel's back. And then it all blows up.
And it's
And
tiny.
so yeah, and it's
Yep.
like and it can be the smallest thing, but
Yep.
because everything else is built on top of that, your your matchstick house come tumbling down, so um just the little things. And like I kept saying, stress and sleep, I have just let myself go to sleep. I'm like, okay. And as far as my schedule, obviously is a little open. And so I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm chilling with my dogs. I'm like, if they
Mhm.
sleeping during the day, guess what, let me go ahead and rest too.
Mhm.
And so but I noticed that my attitude is better in
Yeah.
doing that. And I don't feel groggy or anything like that. And so once my schedule does change, I'll adjust. But I think because I want to get better for myself.
Yes.
I want to continue to be consistent in doing the little things, getting my sleep, the required sleep. Some
Yep.
days I may only need 5 hours. Other days, let me go on and get that whole 8.
Yeah. Mhm.
But allowing myself to do that, and just it's literally shutting my mind down. And I've been listening to lo-fi beats
Mhm.
on Spotify when I'm going to sleep, when I'm trying to mentally wind down. Even if I'm like already sleepy, it's been helping because I'm not I'm not listening to stuff that, go ahead and, get me pumping and all excited and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Um, and it's crazy because I know my mind is getting used to it. My body's getting used to it because I put a timer on for 15 minutes. So that way, when the music cuts off, after the 15 minutes, the music will cut
Mhm.
off. And I've noticed I've been falling asleep before I hear the music stop.
There we go, and that's what we need.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah.
turn all that extra stress, all that cortisol, all that anxiety, bring that heart
Mhm.
rate down, and that creates an environment for you to rest and relax. That is
Yes,
so important for you to have
yes.
because it sets the foundation, like we said at the beginning. It sets the
Mhm.
foundation for how you approach everything else the next day. Your
Yes,
rest, your sleep, your recovery informs what you do the next day, so you have to prioritize that. Losing
absolutely.
sleep, even losing an hour of sleep, can influence how many calories you eat the next day, right?
Yes,
A half
yes.
full night or only a half night of sleep, oh my goodness, the next day you wake up, you're like, I'm starving. And you're just ravenous the rest of the day because you
Right.
haven't given your body the opportunity to recharge, reset, and get the nourishment and get the energy that it needs for the next day. Now you're having to find that energy somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
And finding that energy somewhere else also includes not being active, not hitting your step goal, not making the right nutrition choices. So again, everything starts with that. But I want to add something, one last piece before we kind of look at what's been going on just with your consistency, with your nutrition, stuff like that,
Mhm,
and kind of setting a plan for where we go forward.
mhm.
I share this with whom I feel it would resonate. Okay. There's you, but there's also God.
Yes.
And when we invite this divine, the spiritual aspect of what we're trying to pursue, when we think of our bodies as temples to be used while we're here in the earth,
Yeah.
right? As you think about the gifting that you have with your voice, right? When you think about what your purpose is your purpose not magnified when your temple is clean,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When you're and you think about what a temple is. When you drive down the street and you see a temple or you see a church or fill in the blank, like this is a place where people are supposed to come for inspiration and motivation and refuge and confidence and trust and connection. Am I not supposed to also be that?
Right.
And that starts with being a disciple and the root being discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline is literally drawing a line of separation between the option that I have to be this or the option that I have to be that.
Yeah.
Discipline is the yes or no. And discipline says, I am going to give what I'm doing my yes every day, especially with God's influence power, right?
Yeah.
I am going to give my health my yes, and I am going to trust that God's will is for me to be healthy, right? And if it's God's will for me to be healthy, do I not also believe that God will order my steps, my behavior, right? My consistency toward
Mhm.
improving my health, especially considering that my health, improving my health, doesn't just increase my lifespan, allows me to live longer. Improving my health allows me to serve longer.
Yes.
And is that not why we're here?
Right.
So, discipline. This is a spiritual process. It is.
It
If you
really is.
if you haven't cried on your journey, you don't know yet,
Oh,
right?
we have.
This is a spiritual process. You are literally
Yeah.
killing this. You are separating this version of you. That's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's only done with divine trust and confidence. So I wanted to add that piece. because sometimes we need to hear it to accept it, right?
Yep.
But I hope it was helpful.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, cool. So we got everything. We're building up our consistency. We're trusting God with the process because literally I'm not gonna be able to do this by myself.
Okay.
And in that process, we're allowing our minds to be renewed about what we're doing.
hmm
We're focusing on setting a foundation of quality of life, managing my stress and anxiety, and creating consistency in the other avenues that are also important for what we're trying to do. Okay.
Right.
Long winded. Now, let's get over here and find a place to start, right?
hmm
And when we think about finding a place to start or dive in or continue, even, right,
hmm
it's important to find the places that will have the greatest long term impact if we correct them now. So we're
Yes.
kind of looking for what not just, let's see, impactful and important,
hmm
right? We're looking for the stuff that's on this side. We're
Right.
not looking for the things that are minimally impactful and minimally important for the long time goal. We want the most impactful, the most important things. Okay.
hmm
That's shared. The most impactful and most important. I know you know what these things are, right? As we get started, what's probably the most impactful and most important thing that we need to be focused on?
Head nutrition and my food
Okay.
intake.
The food. The food can
Yes.
answer the question, right? And it's so odd
Shoot,
that
it
this is the
can and
place.
it does.
The food can and will answer the question, but
hmm
this is where we have the greatest opportunity to be disciplined. This is where we break off from the old self,
hmm
is with the nutrition, right? Is with what we put into our bodies, what we put into the temple, what we bring to the temple. Okay.
Right.
So let's take a look. Okay. Cottage cheese. I remember us talking about that. We had
Oh, and
okay.
then guess what?
What's that?
So I was talking about it. I was talking about it to Ross, and I said, "Man, I was like, I need to get a food scale." So I told you we just king and queen of Amazon over here, okay? And
Hmm.
he says, "Well, what kind you need?" I was like, um, he already has some stuff, ordered and coming yesterday anyway. I said, nothing like too fancy or anything. It don't have to be real big. I need to know, what measurements it does and all that. So he's reading one off and then he shows me his phone. You want this one? I was like, okay. And so yes, I finally have a food scale.
Beautiful. So we can log with accuracy.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes. Because them
Perfect.
grapes were killing me. The red seedless grapes, I'm like, okay. So I actually, oh my goodness, it was the food scale saved me, okay? Because
Mm,
what I was doing before was I said, okay, let me look online to see, about average, like what the weight is of like a bunch of grapes or how many exactly,
mhm.
doing all kinds of conversions and everything else. And I'm like, oh my God, stop it. Stop it. I'm like, this is
Literally.
too much. It's not supposed to be like this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to let it become overwhelming, right? It's easy to do too much, but then at the same
Mhm.
time, as we learn from the conversions, as we learn from measuring food, we can realize like, oh,
Man, yes.
okay. Oh, okay. So, okay, cool. So if I actually eat the serving size, this might
Right.
help tremendously make progress toward my goal, right?
Oh, and you know what? And check that out. Okay, so that has actually changed my mindset about
Mhm.
um basically helping me make better decisions on food because yes, if you actually take a serving size, notice I haven't had any shrimp chips in a minute. So,
Mhm.
because again, that was a busy food for me, right?
Mhm.
Like a mindless eating thing.
Mhm.
And so if I actually consumed one serving, I keep telling myself if it's something good or bad, well, quote bad, whatever. But um if I consume anything, I'm like, okay, this is the actual serving. Am I going to be satisfied with this? Am I
No.
really going to be satisfied with this? Or is this just going to be a little taste for me? And then I'm going to want more of it. Am
Yes.
I willing to do another serving of it? And like, is that just going to start snowballing and
Yep.
the whole bag is gone? So it's like, are you going to be happy with yourself after this?
No. Listen, some lessons we have to learn the hard way, right? I
Man,
thought I thought that me and graham crackers could be friends. I'm like, it's not an Oreo. It's not a chocolate chip cookie, right? It's not a Reese's cup. It's just a graham cracker. They don't even taste that good until you realize that a serving size of graham crackers is only 2 sleeves, 2 of them little sheets. And you have 2, you're like,
oh
that was
man.
nice. And you want 2 more. And then you want,
Right.
okay, 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 1 more. Okay, 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 only 1 more. And by the time I'm done, I've eaten 500 calories worth of graham crackers and I'm mad.
Yes.
I'm
Right.
mad. I'm mad. And when I think about
Yes.
what 500 calories could be, which is, I think one of the things that we focus on right now is like eating for volume. Okay.
Hmm.
When you think about what 500 calories could be, it definitely resets your mind about what actually is meaningful in terms of your nutrition. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So here's what I want. And I would love to reconnect or just we can just make sure that we're good for our Thursday this week. Today's
Hmm.
Tuesday, so we can just check back in on this on Thursday to kind of refine some stuff.
Okay.
Okay. What I want is you to continue with the food scale. When'd you get it, by the way?
I got it just last night.
Okay, perfect. Spend a couple of days with the food scale,
Okay.
weighing and measuring this in grams.
I'm
Okay,
like a
ounces
little
is fine
kid.
too.
I'm like a little
Yeah,
kid that got a new toy because I was so
yeah,
excited. It was my last bunch of grapes too. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, let me take a picture of this so she see I got the food.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that's what we want. I want us measuring and putting in the food based on the weight in
Mhm.
grams or ounces. Okay. Now,
Now,
what
what
should
if
you be
what
measuring?
if it's like a prepackaged meal? You still want me to do
That's
it in?
perfect. So like you're like what did I see? Like some lean cuisines I think I saw,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't have to measure those, right? Just scan the barcode for those
Mhm.
and those will come in naturally. Okay.
Okay.
Um, But I think playing around with the food scale and thinking about in terms of your nutrition, we kind of started talking about this maybe the last time or time before last in
Mhm.
like those 6 rules, right? We said, I
Yes.
want to spend some time with, I think it was rule number 2 that we said we wanted to spend some time with. It's like cutting out the whites, right? So let me see if
Yes.
I can get back to that.
Oh, okay. So let me ask about that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I get excited about things real easy sometimes. So okay, yesterday, um, Ross ordered Chinese because I said I was in the
Okay.
mood for egg foo young.
Okay.
So I got shrimp egg foo young. I haven't eaten it yet. I got shrimp egg foo young. They always give you white rice and they
Mm-hmm.
always give you that brown sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to do is I actually bought because I was looking at what to do instead of the whites and the rice is like right? So, um, I got from Kroger, they have packages and you put them in a microwave, boom, and you're done. It's quinoa and wild rice mixture.
Okay.
So what I was thinking is instead of white rice, I'm gonna just have to take the L and throw it away, and then go ahead and get that other rice mixture
Okay.
instead.
Okay. And you can eat the white rice and maybe just do a smaller portion that you can spread out over more days, right? Maybe you
Mhm.
pair the white rice with something else. And because now you can measure it, right? You can put this on the food
Yes.
scale now and it'll tell you, okay, I have
Oh, girl, as
100 grams.
expensive as that stuff was, expensive as that other rice was, I'm like, I don't mind getting rid of this other rice. I don't care.
Okay.
But another reason why I don't want to eat the white rice is because um I asked Ross, I was like, I was getting his, his bag or whatever to go throw away. And I was
Mhm.
like, why is this so heavy? I was like, do you still have food in here? He says, no. He says, I didn't eat the rice. I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay. I'm not eating it either.
Yes. Yep. Good. Okay. That's a good idea then. I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea. So we stay away from the whites, and we especially stay away from the whites because we think about it, the whites influence on our blood sugar and our
Yes.
insulin sensitivity. Okay.
Mhm.
We're trying to increase our insulin sensitivity, right? And that's best done by creating a calorie deficit, which is why we need to weigh and measure the food to know how much you're consuming. And then
Mhm.
also by limiting the glycemic load of the foods that we eat,
Right.
right? High glycemic load, like table sugar, is like number one. Whereas like watermelon is very low on the list when it comes to
Mhm.
sugar load, glycemic load. Okay. And maybe we spend some time, kind of discussing what this looks like, what types of choices we should be making outside of the whites,
Mhm.
right? But I think that's a great place to start. I know you've made progress on your liquid calories. I know we're working
Yes.
on bringing in more protein. So when we connect on Thursday, because
Mhm.
you just got the food scale, when we connect on
Mhm.
Thursday, we'll just look at what's been happening with your portions and make
Yes.
adjustments to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's been a visual thing for me.
mm-hmm,
Is like I said, it was literally just last night. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is not so bad. Like
mm-hmm,
the calories that I was getting from the grapes, I'm like, this is not so bad because I went to choir rehearsal, came back real late, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I realized I hadn't eaten since the morning and or
mm-hmm.
like the afternoonish or whatever. And I was like, I really feel like I need to put something on my stomach. And I was gonna tackle that other food, and I was like, I literally just need a little something. And I was like, and Ross told me, he says, oh, well, your stuff came from Amazon. I said, oh, bet. I was like, let me go ahead and play with this now.
Good. Good, good, good. Okay.
Hmm.
So we'll come back, we'll check in on that on Thursday. And in the interim, if you start to create the activity habit, the walking habit,
Yes.
right? If we think about the minimum amount of steps for like a healthy adult being 6,000, right?
Hmm.
That's just generally just getting up, doing more chores, parking further away. Like you don't even have to think much for that level of activity,
Right.
right? So I want to encourage you or challenge you to start to find a way to program in maybe 30 minutes total of like intentional active walking every day if you're not already, right?
Right.
Yes, we can get that at the gym. That's more than welcome to get from the gym.
Hmm.
But maybe it's also like 15 minutes after lunch, 15 minutes after dinner to get my total 30 minutes per day every day in
Okay.
terms of my activity. Okay, so we'll check on that on Thursday. Let me just make sure that on Thursday we are good. What time do we
Mhm.
typically do? It looks like I had 3 on Thursdays Eastern, so 2 your
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Is that okay this upcoming
Yes.
Thursday?
Yes, it is.
I think I had us on Wednesday, but I put that back on Thursday. 3 your time, 3 my time. 3 my time? 2 your
Three
time.
good times. Yes, two mine.
Okay, perfect. All right, cool. I'll talk to you on Thursday then. You
Yes,
let me know if you need anything, and I'll
I
chat with
will.
you then, okay?
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, ma'am. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.